Brilliant. Lovely. Today, I want to talk about traveling light. So I'm going to need Miller, my friend. My good friend. Miller, I'm going to need you to equip yourself with all your holiday bags right now. This is everything that Miller packs when he goes on holiday. Obviously, he's got to have his trusty pink bag, which he chose himself from the Amazon shop and everything. Yeah. So what are you packing in there? Okay. Yeah, he's ready to go to the airport. Right? Miller's on his way. Miller, where are you going on holiday?
I'm going to America.
Miller's going to America on holiday. Anywhere specifically in America? You basically just named the continent, mate. Be more specific. Where are you going? Where in the US?
Oh, I know, New York.
He's going to New York. Miller's going to New York with all his essentials. Now he's going to have a nightmare getting through TSA, through the security there. But that's fine. Miller, you're right there. You got all your bags, yeah? That's brilliant. Who here would say they're an overpacker when they go on holiday? Sophie's an overpacker. Sophie tells me off because, Miller, you're in a hurry. You don't have time putting your bags down. Come on, man. Who else is an overpacker? Packs loads, yeah? Who's ever bought extra, you're pointing fingers at Kerry. Who's ever bought extra luggage so they can take more stuff on holiday? Right? Yeah. See. Yeah. Brilliant. Miller, he's struggling a little bit. Do you need to put a bag down? No? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, he's all right. He's made his choice of how much he's going to pack. Brilliant. See, who's an underpacker? Who gets to holiday and realizes they forgot stuff, yeah? I think there's a lot of, you know what? I thought more people would be overpackers. See, because I think there's a couple types of people, right? There's some people who will go on a holiday to, we'll say Egypt, just to choose a really hot country. And, they'll pack their swimwear, they'll pack their sandals, they'll maybe pack some comfier shoes, some Skechers. But then they'll also pack their skiing shoes just in case, and their wedding shoes just in case. And you need all this kind of stuff. You need 3 times the amount of underwear that is, the amount of days that you're going for. Because what if you have 2 accidents every day, right? Come on, got to pre-plan for that kind of stuff. And there's the other people who will go with a backpack, and the only pair of underwear they're taking is the one they're wearing on them to the airport. So, yeah. When we were coming back from Benidorm, actually, Sophie realized she maybe didn't have enough space in her bag, so she tried to get me to put clothes into my coat because she didn't think her bag would fit, right? Yeah, no, she did fit in. It did fit in the end. Miller, are you all right there holding the bags? Yeah? Miller, you know what? You just got to the airport, and apparently your gate is about 2 circles around the chairs.
Okay.
You need to get to your gate, bro. Time's going to be... You know, there's actually a special service where they let you leave one bag, and they'll take it to the plane for you if you want to leave a bag. A luggage. No. Oh, he's going with both. That's fine. That's all right. He thinks the end is close. That's why he's not letting a bag go. Brilliant. See, so there's 2 kinds of ones. And there's the special people who pack exactly right. And I'm one of those people. I'm definitely one of those people. No, Sophie's saying no. Sophie gets frustrated because she gets really anxious when she goes to the airport because she looks at my bag and goes, that's never going to fit. You know when you go and they make you put it in that box and it's just right, the right size. I'm the person that packs just a bit too much so that when I put it on there, I have to push it down and make sure they're not looking. Because sometimes they get really no, you can't push it down. It's going to slide in. you look a little bit tired. So the key when we go on holiday, right, is to pack the right way and not take things that you don't need to take with you. Hold on. Miller, I just got a message saying that your gate closes in approximately 30 seconds and it's 3 rounds around the tables, around the chairs. You got 30 seconds, go. You got to make it to your gate, Miller. Go, Miller. Go. He's halfway through. Oh, he's doing well for time. Got 20 seconds for 2 more rounds. Go on, he's going. Go on, what? Go on, 1 more after this. Come on, Miller, 15 seconds. You've got 1 more after this. Come on. Miller got 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, he made it on time. You can let it go. Well done. You can drop your baggage, Miller. He did better than I expected, if I'm honest. Well done, Miller. Well done. What a legend. What a legend. If you're curious what was in... Huh? Can you stay there? No, you're right. You can go have your cornetto now. Brilliant. Well done, Miller. Well done. Miller, would you say that journey would have been a lot easier if you didn't overpack so much? It would have been, well, thank you. He's a great helper there. Brilliant. That's why he's my friend. So, it would have been so much easier for Miller to go on his journey if he had just packed what you're supposed to pack instead of a whole bag of air dry clay, a stack of books, a bunch of 2-liter bottles filled with water, and a metal safe. There's just some things that you just don't need to bring with you on your journey, Miller. Brilliant. Yeah, and they won't even let you through with the water, Miller. I don't know if you know the rules. You've got to bin it all. You get 100 milliliters, I believe it is. Yeah, need a bunch of little bowls. There you go. That's it. They'll check the safe, and if you don't have the key, what's going on, and maybe you don't want them to see what's in your safe of secrets. So you always carry it with you because you don't want anyone to see what's in your safe. So you carry it with you everywhere. And then you get to the gate and realize maybe I need to leave this safe here because I won't be let through. Brilliant. My point is that as we go on this journey called life, as we go on this journey from our birth to our death, there's certain bags we choose to carry. There's certain bags that we don't choose to carry but are put onto us. Right? I don't know about you, but have you ever this is going to be a lad thing, but have you ever, as a young man, have you ever been out in public with your mum and she goes, just hold my handbag? No, I don't want to hold your handbag in public. I don't want to hold this, but you don't have a choice because your mum's your ride home. So you have to hold that baggage, even though you don't want to. But similarly in life, right? There's bags we choose to carry. There's bags that we're given because we have to carry. And we go on and on and on, and we start to struggle. It gets a bit heavy, and now Miller's a strong lad, so he did all right, and he just about made it in time. But what if I started throwing things at him, right? No people were getting in his, exactly. There was no one getting in his way, no one stuck their leg out. And even so, I saw him trip, right? So what I'm saying is are we carrying things on our walk that maybe it'd just be easy if we left it at home, if we just left it behind? And so, who would say that life can be quite hard to run in life sometimes when you're carrying so much weight, right? Especially when the Bible says, run the good race, right? Run the good run, fight the good fight. That's the one. I'm mixing scriptures together now, right? But run the race. Do it well. It's hard to run and not trip, fall, hurt yourself when you're carrying so many things. And so, what are some things that we might be carrying? I think there's different types of bags that we can carry. We can carry some emotional baggage a lot of the time. We can carry some emotional baggage. And I think emotional baggage can look like things like guilt or maybe shame. And they can go together a lot of the time. And it can be things that maybe we've done and we feel the shame of doing certain things. And we carry that because we realize that I've done something I'm ashamed of, and that's part of who I am. And I've got to carry that part of me with me. And so we feel ashamed and we feel guilty. Sometimes there's things that happen to us that we feel shame and guilt for. A lot of the time we feel insecurity as well. And especially when we're carrying a lot of baggage, right? I think if we made all the lads race and I made Miller carry all those bags, he'd be a bit frustrated that he can't run as fast as the other lads. But the truth is he's carrying baggage. And we compare ourselves to other people who might have had different lives. And we think, why can't I do so well? You know, why are they running so much faster? Why are they doing so much better? Is there something wrong with me? And we compare ourselves and we start feeling insecure. And a lot of the time it's because we have baggage that's holding us back. A lot of the time, this is, you know, I'm all right for this. But people pleasing, we love to people please. And I know so many people, you know what, I lied, I'm a bit of a people pleaser actually. I don't like upsetting people, right? But people pleasing is such a baggage sometimes because what you're doing is, and you know, it's when you get into the Christian world, it can get a bit murky because we think, well, we got to love and care and serve everyone. And sometimes we get serving and loving mixed up with like toxic people pleasing, right? That's the exact, yeah. We lack the boundary there. And so we constantly give and we constantly put out to the point where we start neglecting our own walk in life. We start neglecting our relationships, our relationship with God, our own health. And so we can carry this emotional baggage. And a lot of the time, it can weigh us down because, you know, emotional baggage is like, it's mine. I can hide it away and I can pretend it's not there. But you know what? We see it. The people around you do see it. You might think you're hiding it, but you can all see that you're running slower because you're holding on to something. And you might be fine at first. You know, maybe Miller's like an Olympic sprinter, so he's all right. He's keeping up even with his baggage. He's professional at carrying his baggage. But give it a couple hundred meters, and our baggage starts to show in the long term. Because no matter how strong we think we are, there comes a point where the baggage gets exhausting, gets inconvenient, and it starts to trip us up. There's also relational baggage. We hold on to things that have happened in our relationships. Maybe I look back at the way I was parented, and I think, why didn't my parents care for me like they should have? I mean, that's my mum, that's my dad. Why didn't they love me like they should have? And we hold on to that. And that's one of them bags that you didn't choose to pick up. It was handed to you. It was strapped to you, and now you have to carry that. Why did this person I fell in love with treat me the way they did? And now you carry this baggage. And this baggage means that like it's a big bag, and so it kind of like overcrowds you. So you hide behind this bag. And you make sure you keep this bag's distance between you and other people. Because this bag is my experience of relationships. And I'm going to hold on to this bag. Because this is what I know. And it was given to me when I was a kid, but now it's just kind of fused to my hand. And you know, the thing about baggage is, right, is that it changes the way you walk, right? If you see Miller walking in the streets, he's definitely not walking around like this, right? He's walking up straight. He's walking normally. He's walking with confidence. But when he had all those bags on him, he was walking like this. And a lot of the time when we carry these bags, it doesn't just affect how we walk physically, but it affects our attitudes. It affects our behaviors. Our experiences and the things we choose to carry with us affect how we treat other people and how we engage in current relationships. there's also this spiritual baggage that we carry a lot of the time. And usually the spiritual baggage is a lot of the time based on things like the emotional baggage and the relational baggage, where we actually start projecting onto God who we think he is. And we start thinking, well, my parents rejected me. And so God must be frustrated with me all the time. Because my mum was always frustrated. My dad was always angry. My boyfriend, my girlfriend was always disappointed in me. And so God must also be disappointed in me. And maybe that's why you don't come to church a lot of the time. Because you feel like God is condemning you, is disappointed in you. Maybe today you feel like you've not earned God's love. Maybe you feel like I can't walk into church carrying all these bags because everyone's going to laugh at me. God's going to send me out the door. Because carrying 3 bags full of clay and a safe and bottles of water and books isn't the right attire for church, you might say to yourself. But that's not true. So my question to you is, what is your baggage? What's a bag that you're carrying today that you just don't need to carry with you? Right? Because, when Miller did a lap around and he thought, I finally got to the end, I finally got to my gate, and it's all right now because I'm standing, I'm going to get on the plane, I'll put my bags down. And then suddenly something happened, and he finds out that now he's got 30 seconds to sprint with all these bags. You might think that it's going to be okay, that you'll make it with these bags. But truth is, you've still got a long way to go. The journey is still there to be had. The race is still there to be run. Right? Your life is still there to live till the end. And God is saying, hey, there's this service that I provide where you give me your baggage and then I take you to your destination. If Miller came here and accepted my offer to put a bag down, I would have gotten someone to grab one of those bags and walk with him. And I would have represented God. Where God says, hey, let me have your bag. And after a while, we drop that bag off. Because actually, we realize I don't need that bag. It contains all the clothes with the holes in. I don't know why I even packed that bag. It's greasy clothes. I've not even washed them. They're all sweaty. I don't even want that bag. The bag itself just smells funny as well. Anyone who goes to the gym will know you've got that one smelly bag. It's awful. And so, you see, when we come to God, he says, hey, there's these bags that you have, and they might be so dear to you. Because even when, does anyone have like an old toy or like a teddy bear that's just absolutely disgusting, but you've had it since you were like a kid, and you just can't get rid of it? Like it's like your thing. Sophie's on her head. You've not got one, you've got 10, dude. She's got so many. But maybe this thing that you hold on to is like sentimental at this point. It's like it defines who you are, you say. I've heard so many people that say that my past has made me stronger. And then I look at them and go, your past has made you nasty. Your past has made you isolated. Your past has made you lonely. It's not made you stronger. And so, I've got 2 stories. And at the end of these stories, I'm sure that we will all agree that there's one person we shouldn't take to the airport, and that's my little brother. So I've got 2 stories of him at the airport, okay? And they will teach us 2 lessons, okay? So, how do we go about this letting go? Because maybe there is baggage and maybe there is a struggle. And so, here's the first story, okay? My brother, when he was little, when you go through airport security, and, it's all right, they check your passports, they check all this kind of stuff, and then every now and then they'll ask you, so where are you staying? When, you're going to New York. So where are you staying? Who are you staying with? It's like, okay. And then they ask you these questions to make sure that you're not like weird or anything. And then this security person looks down on my brother. I believe this is actually when we did go to Egypt. So there was a little bit of a language barrier there as well. And so this Egyptian lady, she looks down on my brother and goes, young man, and who are these two people to you? And she's pointing at our parents. And my little brother goes with a big smirk, I don't know them. I don't know them. I just found them. The horror in my parents' face, right? I was only like maybe 14, and I understood that you just don't say that kind of thing at the airport, right? And then this lady just looks and goes, what? He goes, they're my parents. It's like so suspicious, dude. Like they definitely think you've been kidnapped. And in all fairness, to be fair, I don't know why that lady let us through. She should have absolutely double-checked us, all right? Because if he was actually kidnapped, that would have been awful. But no, she just lets him through. And the worst thing is, right? I don't know if you've met him, but like, so my parents and we have like dark hair, brown eyes, and my brother's got blonde hair, blue eyes. And so that didn't even help that situation, right? But but the point is, right? When we lie, there can be quite a bit of trouble there, especially when we're on this journey, especially when we're going through security, right? It's not a place you want to be lying to yourself or to other people, because you can get in trouble, right? You can get yourself in trouble, you can get others in trouble. And so what's important as we go on this journey is that we find space for honest reflection. What is the truth? Am I weighing myself down with a lie today? You know, he's never done that since, because he's made the mistake and he's reflected on it and he's not done it again. I want to ask you today, in this space, if we are going to reflect on our life, is there a bag that we need to drop? Is there an experience? Is there a relationship that we need to drop? Is there a relationship or an argument that needs to be solved and fixed? Is there someone that I used to be close with that I don't talk to anymore because we argued and one of us refuses to apologize? And that's ruined a really good relationship, and it hurts me deep down, but maybe I'm stubborn and don't want to apologize. Maybe there's some things that my parents said to me. Maybe there's ways in which my parents had treated me. Maybe there's boyfriends, girlfriends that had treated me a certain way. And I'm just holding on to that. And maybe we need to let go. But that's not easy, is it? It's not easy to let go, especially when something's a really awful experience. So where do we start when it comes to letting go? As I'm speaking this message, are you guys already having some bags in your head that you're thinking about? Is there certain things that you might be grabbing onto? Maybe it's just a small bag. I saw a couple people shaking their head. The bags don't have to be that big. Maybe it's a small bag. You know, when you go on certain flights, if you don't buy extra baggage, even if you have a tiny bag, you might get away with it, actually. Darren had an extra little, like, one of them like, man bags, which you're not supposed to have because that's extra baggage. But he did take it anyway. But if the airport security wanted to, you know, he'd get in trouble for having an extra bag. So maybe the bag isn't big, and so you're thinking, I don't have a bag. Maybe it's a little bag that every now and then it just causes a bit of trouble. Right? Small things or big things. So where do we start? We've got this bag in our head. Where do I start? How do I even go about beginning to let go of this bag? Because this bag might be so precious. Here's another story. My little brother, we were going through airport security, and he loves his toys. Absolutely loves his toys. Okay? And so, as a child, your parents pack your bag. And, if I pack a bag, I'm pretty confident about what's in the bag, right? Like, you know what you put in a bag. Yeah, you go to security and the person goes, did someone check it? And they go, did you pack the bag yourself? I go, yeah, I did, yeah. So you know that there's not going to be anything dodgy in there. Well, my mum was very, very wrong about that. Because my little brother, when no one was looking, snuck a toy in his bag. And so when his bag was going through the X-ray, the lady looking at the screen is looking, and she's looking at the bag, and there's obviously all the little clothes, all the stuff, maybe a phone, and a gun. Why is there a gun going through airport X-rays, right? What is going on? And so straight away, we all get hauled to this side, the bag gets separated, and they're like, did you pack the bag? To my mum, to which my mum goes, yeah. Yeah, I packed the bag. And my brother's just there, with his stupid little smile. My bag. Open it up, and there's a toy gun in there. Again, to my mother's horror, a toy gun. I don't remember too much. I just remember the security guy being very frustrated, as you imagine he would be. Why is there a toy gun going through the X-ray? This is the stuff you declare and bin before you even arrive, close to this place. But you know what would have made that journey so much easier at the very beginning? Before we even got to the airport, before we even had left the house, because my mum checked it, she packed it, she knew the bag was fine. If my little brother just confessed and said, Mum, there might be something extra in the bag, it would have saved so much stress. And now you might be worried that I'm going to say, now let's all go around and confess our sins to each other. That is not what we're going to be doing. Don't worry. You don't have to confess your deepest, darkest secrets to us. But maybe where it begins is that now that I know I have this baggage, now that I'm aware of it, and now that I have made the choice that maybe this is a bag that I want to let go, but I might struggle to let go of it. Maybe it begins with us just coming to God and saying, God, I'm carrying this bag I'm not supposed to. Jesus, there's this thing that I know you've told me I need to let go of, but I just don't know how. And so, God, can you help me with this bag? And there's so many problems that we could solve later on down the line if we begin to deal with our baggage now. Because, like we saw Miller running around, he was fine, but sooner or later, we'd start getting bored of watching him run, so we'd start throwing things at him and tripping him up. You might think you're fine for now with your baggage. But I'm telling you, it's better to drop it now than fall over with it later and have it crush you. What helps also is remembering to pack the things we need to take with us, the essentials. And sometimes, if we just focus on the essentials that we need, it's a lot easier to stay focused on what should be in our bag. If I know I'm going somewhere warm, I know I don't need skiing shoes, right? If I know that I can trust my Jesus with my bag, that means I don't have to carry it. Hebrews 12 says this. Therefore, since we also have such a great cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let's rid ourselves of every obstacle and the sin which so easily entangles us. Let's run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking only at Jesus, the originator and perfecter of the faith, the one that runs really well. Let's model our run after him. Looking only at Jesus, the originator and perfecter of the faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him who has endured such hostility by sinners against himself, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Some of us are growing weary very quickly and are losing the heart for our relationships, for getting up in the morning, for doing everyday things. And it's because we know that when we get out of bed, there's so many bags to carry. I kind of translated this passage from English into traveling light. And this is how I see it relates to today's message. As we go on this journey, let's make sure we don't overpack or take things that will make traveling hard. Let's make sure we are ready to move fast and not get tired when the journey throws curveballs at us. Let's have Jesus as our perfect example, who showed us the pain of having to carry our baggage already. We've already seen our baggage being carried out on Jesus, on the cross. So let's be wise. Take the advice of Jesus so we do not get overwhelmed. Do we need to be wise today with what we're carrying? Do we need to look through our bags again so we don't find stuff that shouldn't be in there? And you might think to yourselves, and I'm coming to an end now because we're going to have a response in a second, but we might be coming to the end now, and you might be thinking, you know what? I feel like this message is just a similar message we've heard so many times, but just repacked into a different analogy, and I've actually surrendered my things to God over and over again. I've surrendered all this stuff to Jesus, and I've been at the front of the stage, and I've said, Jesus, have this, take this. I've written it on notes, and I've put it on trees, and I've burnt it, and now you're asking me to surrender and put down this baggage again. I have a friend, which I won't name, because some of us might know him, that when I first met him, he was carrying so much baggage. They were carrying all this baggage with them. And when I first met them, they said, I'm never letting go of my baggage. This is something that I'm going to go with because you know what? I feel like I should carry this baggage. This baggage is what makes me feel okay about everything that's happened in my life. So I'm not letting it go. But as you get to know him, you see that it's affected huge parts of their life. And years later, after years and years of doing these, little tiny steps, today I'll tell Jesus about it. I'll write this down, and I'll hand it over to Jesus over and over and over again. And they do it so many times, and then you talk to them, and they're still carrying this baggage. And one day, they came in, and once again said, I'm giving it to you, God, again. And they broke down. And just both of us were just amazed at the situation, because it's like you could feel the spiritual bags hit the floor. And after doing this over and over and over again, finally, that one time, And they didn't know that morning when they woke up that that would be the time. But they kept going for it. And one time, it just dropped. I want to encourage you today. If you've responded with this baggage over and over and over again, and you're thinking, I'm still carrying this baggage, why am I not dropping it? Sometimes there's a process, and sometimes that process is spiritual and we can't see it, but it's happening. And the devil just wants you to give up. He wants you to keep carrying it. He wants you to stop responding because he knows that there's coming a moment where that bag will drop, where the handle will snap by the power of God Almighty. And maybe, just maybe, today might be that time where the bag drops. If it's not, I encourage you to still come to the front. And then come to the front next time and next time until it drops. But maybe today will be the day where it drops.